When people around you know that you can sew or knit, you often get the question if you could make them a sweater or hem their pants or something like that. Normally, I would say no to such requests, because the people asking have likely never attempted to make such things themselves and have no idea how long it takes and how much work it is. But there are some people I never want to say no to, and my little sister is one of them. So, 1 week before her birthday, she asked me if I could knit her another pair of my hand-dyed socks. I smiled nervously and said I'd try, and yeah, this video is me trying to follow this plan. So, smart girl that I am, I thought I'd bring out my vintage knitting machine to be able to meet the deadline of 2 days. Little did I know then that that was not a good idea. It has been about 2 years since I last assembled my knitting machine, and figuring out how it went together took me way longer than I expected. More than half of the first day was over when I finally got to wind the yarn into a little cake and was able to start knitting. I had looked for a free sock pattern in advance, since my sister has another shoe size than me and I wanted to get the sizing right. So I found a pattern, I adapted it to flatbed machine knitting, and just as I wanted to start knitting, I got interrupted. Oh, hi Ivy. My cat just... What you doing there, girl? What you doing there? Huh? Do you want in there? Let me help you. I cannot pull up the lid if you're sitting on it. Girl! Ivy! Let me... Ja, genau. Jetzt herein. You can go in there. Yeah, go in there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, bye. Is this good? Yeah, this good? Okay, I will continue. Okay, bye. I proceeded to cast on my gauge swatch. I expected a different gauge between the freehand knitting pattern that I found and the fabric that my machine would make. So I casted on a 2 to 3 ribbing pattern and some stockinette to make some comparisons. I then went ahead and blocked the swatch at the end of day 1. Morning. So it's the next day. I have had a productive morning. I packed an order. I also dyed some yarn, and yeah, my swatch is now ready to go. I can measure how many stitches I would need in length and width, and then I can try to translate it into knitting a sock. After recalculating the free pattern to the new gauge, I casted on my first sock. But after a few calm 20 centimeters of monotone knitting, I encountered a huge problem that I totally forgot about. I had to evenly decrease the calf portion around the entire sock shaft. And the last time I tried to decrease something evenly across the row on a knitting machine, I found it to be super tricky and I gave up on it. So now I was at this point again, and I remembered that, and I was like, I remembered I ordered a garter bar after my last decreasing ordeal. So when I now reached this point, I thought I had a solution prepared. But I ran into a huge disappointment. It doesn't fit. It does not fit. Wait, let me show you. It does not fit. So when I put the left one in, the right one do not fit. The distance between the needles is not the same as with my knitting machine. It's supposed to be the same. I haven't even done the heel of the first sock. And I have no more time to do these socks. I hate this. I hate this now, like so bad, and I don't see anyway how I can do this. Why do I always think that knitting machine things are faster? Why? It took me one day to get everything up and remember how things are done. And doing the thing also takes some time, and this was my 2 days attempt at making socks. Did not work at all. Hardcore fail. Okay, bye. See you soon. So it's been about 2 months since I last filmed making these socks for my sister, and I have various issues. First, it's been 2 months and it took me around 1 day the last time to get acquainted with a knitting machine, having it set up. That is done now, but I don't know if I remember how I did all the things. So now I quickly relearned what I did the months before and painstakingly decreased this row by hand. And lo and behold, I finally managed to finish my first sock. Well, this is the sock that I got, and it is way too long, and I don't really know how that could happen. Yes, I had multiple issues with this, and I had no chance to get it done in 2 days. I think I will just make a pattern from scratch this time, so I have to look up the measurements for feet and then calculate it by myself. So, the first thing I have to do is I have to get to know my fabric. I already have my swatch that I made at the start of the videos. I need to know the amount of stretch that is in the ribbing and in the stockinette, in the length and in the width. Because what you would not need for a sweater, but which broke my neck earlier with my first try in sock making, you have to reduce the length of the socks, the amount that they should stretch around your foot, so that they have a nice comfy grip. So I used the measurements that I got for the stretch to design a pattern that would allow for hopefully a lot of different calf and foot widths to comfortably fit in the socks. I wanted to use a stretchy 2 to 3 ribbing pattern for the whole calf and for the upper portion of the foot, and stockinette on the bottom of the foot. And for the toe and for the heel I would use a boomerang heel. That's a heel that you knit with short rowing. You can Google it. Okay, day 2. I had to start 3 times because the first time, I don't know, I just messed up. The second time I noticed that I just had this amount of yarn left, and when I tried to change strands or threads, somehow everything came down. So I just, I started with a new yarn ball and started again. I have successfully cast on, established my ribbing pattern and knit around 20 centimeters of ribbing. That's for the calf and the upper part. And now I have to decrease. For that, I went on eBay and bought this Japanese thing. It has an... oh, it's a German instruction. That's unexpected. Okay, it's German. I have to read that later before I use it. They're little two clamps. And here. This is what I wanted. These are transferring tools, and I think you can put them together. No, the small one will be too small. I think one of the white ones will do. So I will now have to decrease my calf around 10 or 20 stitches. I have to read the instructions how I can decrease, and then I will decrease the calf and continue knitting. Just to show you how this works, I have to decide now in which direction I want to decrease. Just let us do it to the left. So I'll take one stitch onto this tool, take it to the needle to the left, and transfer the stitch there. Same here. Same here. I did it! You want to see? Das war ein bisschen Weile.
Ist Hobby.
Finally, it was time to cast off the last sock from the machine, all under the watchful eyes of my little cat Yuzu. All I had left to do was hand sewing the toe shut and close the side seam of the sock. I used a mattress stitch and pulling the string and the fabric repeatedly to get a good compromise between a sturdy seam and a little bit of stretchiness. And finally, it was try-on time. I finished this pair of socks, which in theory sounded so quick and easy to make, and took in the end 2 months to finish. But I'm very, very happy with them, since I not only have this Christmas gift for my little sister, but now also have my first completely self-written sock pattern. I want to take some time to test it for hand knitting, and then I would love to publish it and test it for different sizes. I really think these are the ideal gifting socks or house guest socks, since the stretchy ribbing should accommodate many different calf and foot shapes. And you can choose if you pull them completely up or if you want to cuff them, which also looks very cute. Thank you so much for watching my first video. I know it has been a bumpy ride, but I could not be more thrilled with the result. I hope to see you again soon to accompany me on another project. Bye!